How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today we're going over the Dawn of History Set 1 spawners for Battle Spirit Saga. And because there's so many cards in the set, I thought rather than go over them all in one video and have one huge video, I'll go over them color by color, because there's only 4 colors starting off at the beginning of the game in the first set. And we're going to go in the color order that is kind of shown in number order, and that is starting off with red. And red is a nice one. It's kind of very big things like big dragons, stuff like that, like big creatures, spirits, and also like some fun little things like spamming with like some big dragons, and looks pretty cool. And it has one deck that looks like it has a really strong play, being the Star Dragons, which I'll probably do a deck profile on and I'll look at. But before we get into the spoilers, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Helps out the video, helps out the channel, helps out the video as well greatly, and helps you get to a goal of 1,000 subs, which I'm currently trying to get there by the end of the year. Because we're over halfway there so far. I'm gonna try to get there a little bit faster. So without further ado, let's get into the video and check out the spoilers for set 1, Dawn of History for red. So starting off with the X rares. So all 3 colors have 3 X rares, and they cover they each cover the main kind of like archetypes, well, like types in the game. So we got Supernova Dragon Sigworm Nova, which is a Star Dragon / Valiant hero, and this is the X rare for the Star Dragons. Then we got Jurassic King Gigano Rex, which covers the pterosaurs in the set. And then you got Storm Beast Emperor Thunder Leon, being the Emperor Beast, well, what the X rare for Emperor Beasts. And these are all very powerful cards. As you can see, like the power is quite strong. Like Supernova can go up to all the way to 12,000 for its level 3, 10,000 for a Jurassic King Rex, and also you got Leon be up to 8,000. Like Leon might be the strongest, but they're still quite decent ones. They're all spirits, and we got Supernova. Yeah, so Supernova Dragon Sigurd Nova is an 8 cost with a 3 cost reduction. Its level ascension is essentially 1 for level 1, 3 for level 2, and 5 cores for level 3. And it also has Ascend on cost of 6 or more. So Ascend is a effect where, as additional summoning cost, you must place all cores from one of your spirits that cost 6 or more into your reserve. So that means when you play out this card, you have to, because it says you must, select one of your 6 cost spirits and remove all the cores from it into your reserve, effectively self-destroying the spirit. And that has a benefit of doing that as well, because for his first effect, we've got it available at level 1, 2, or 3, which is at flash step Awaken. So if you remember what Awaken is, it allows you, when you perform it, to move any number of cores from any of your spirits onto itself. When you do it, such in a flash step, like attacking or blocking, you can move some cores around from other spirits onto itself. And its second effect is when summoned at any level, when this spirit performs Ascend, which it must do when it's played, using a spirit with Sigworm in its name, and currently we've only seen a card with Sigworm in its name in the starter deck, being Imperial, I think it's Imperial Thunder Dragon, Imperial Thunder Dragon Sigworm, and in its name, you may place a Soul Core, so as you one like special core you get in the game, into the void. And that's from any area as well. It could be from your trash, from a spirit, from your reserve, into the void. And if you do, place cores from the void into your life until you have 5 life left. Once you have 5 life. And that's very, very strong. Because if you get put down to 1, there is a magic card we'll see which allows you to play out, like, essentially almost free play out all your Star Dragons, which is really, really cool. And essentially, when you play this, if you get on the 1 and then play this out, use Ascend and hit and send off the a 6 cost Sigworm Dragon using the Ascend 4, you can then move the Soul Core to the Void, where it's no longer accessible ever again for that game. And the main thing I'll do with the Soul Core is use it to pay the cost of something, like say Super Dragon Nova, so that way you can set it from your trash to Void, so you don't use up one of your cores from your reserve or on a card. And then that brings you all the way back up from 1 life back to 5 life, so essentially healing yourself back up to how you were when you started the game. which is really, really cool. And then you have this big dragon on the board as well. And then its last effect, which is available at level 2 and 3, is when the spirit attacks, select any number of your opponent's spirits with a combined total of 10,000 or fewer BP and destroy them. So you get to that's almost a board wipe for a lot of decks, where unless they get a lot of spirits out at the highest level, you're normally going to be board wiping this effect, which is very, very cool. And it's just when it's attack, so it's before the flash step. You resolve this and you get so they don't have a chance to like potentially block and stuff, which is really cool. A very strong card, and as well as that, it is also the one of the best best cards in the deck, and one of the main cards you're going to want to get for the Star Dragon deck. And then we have Jurassic King Gigano Rex, and this is also an 8 cost, but this has a 6 cost reduction, so it can come out for as cheap as 2 cost. And its levels are 1 core for level 1, 3 cores for level 2, and 6 cores level 3. Its first effect is when summoning a spirit from your hand, you may count each symbol on your Pterosaur or Emperor Beast spirits on the field as 2 symbols when calculating its cost reduction. So essentially, for every Pterosaur or Emperor Beast you have on board, it gives a 2 cost reduction rather than 1 cost reduction like it might normally do, which is really good because that means you can you don't need as many cards on the board to be able to reduce its cost. And its other skills are its second one, being available at all levels, which is if you only have Pterosaur or Emperor Beast spirits on the field, this card treat the spirit as level 3, so you can have it as level 1 and only have Pterosaur or Emperor Beast on the board, and it's just instantly level 3. And its other skills, the next one, which is available at level 2 or 3, while the spirit attacks against Confront, basically making your opponent have to block if they are able to block with a spirit. And its last skill, only available at level 3, is when the spirit attacks, all your spirits gain 3000 BP during its turn, giving all your spirits a 3000 attack boost for the turn, which is very good. So those like little dimpy little spirits that you've got on the board into higher beat sticks. It's not too bad, and quite a neat, decent one, especially if you're playing the Emperor Beast, like playing mainly Emperor Beast. You could even set this in as well as a side deck card to have like a big boss card to play. Because all you need to do is have one marker, get level 1. As long as it's just Pterosaur or Emperor Beast, it becomes a level 3 instantly, having access to all its skills and being a 10k for just 1 core, which is very, very strong. And then you have Storm Beast Emperor Thunderleon. This is a 5 cost with 2 cost reduction, and its levels are 1 core for 1, 3 cores for 2, and 5 cores for 3. And its first effect, available at all levels, is when summoned, destroy all your opponent's spirits with 2000 or fewer BP, and your opponent's when destroyed effects are not triggered by this effect, which is quite cool. And its other effect, which is only available at level 3, is when the spirit attacks, draw a card. That's not too bad. That's not amazing, but it's quite decent for the cost. It's quite a cheap cost. But then you still need 3 cores to play the out, and then 5 cores to put on the card itself to trigger that level 3 effect to just simply draw 1 card. There's other cards that do draw more cards for cheaper, but then don't really stay around as a big body as well. So it's not amazing, but it's not too bad. Then we go through and we'll start off with the Star Dragon cards. So we got Divine Halberd Dragon Arc as our first one, Divine Mars Dragon Ares Dragoon, and White Hole Dragon. Like White Hole Dragons, which remind me so much of Yu-Gi-Oh! With the Blue Eyes White Dragon. But yeah, these are your start dragons in the main set. And we got Divine Halberd Dragon Arc is a 3 cost with 2 cost reduction, so it'll come down as cheap as 1. And its levels are 1 core for 1, 3 cores for 2, and 5 cores for 3. First effect, available at all levels, is neither player's life can be reduced by an attack from a spirit that costs 2 that has 2000 or fewer BP. So it's kind of like a nice little combat to Weenie Rush if they swing with like loads of little spirits and only have 1 core to make it level 1. Most of them are quite like a 1000 2000 power at level 1. That means they can't do damage while this guy is on the board, which is very nice. Then the other effect, which is only while it's a level 2 or 3, is when the spirit attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 2000 or fewer BP and destroy it. So red is kind of this whole thing with it's got Awaken and Confront as its main skills for the color, and also is all about like destroying things like spirits or nexuses and stuff like that. Then we got Divine Mars Dragon Ares Dragoon, a 6 cost with a 4 cost reduction. Its levels are 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 6 for level 3. And its first effect, being available at all levels, is Flash Awaken, so allow you to move any number of cores from other spirits and place them onto the spirit, and then not trigger any when destroyed effects if you use the skill to remove all the cores of one of your spirits. So that's quite a nice one for that, especially for defending or for attacking. Be able to boost your boost them up, go for level 1 to level 3 to give a huge power boost offensively or defensively. Is not quite nice. And then the other skill that's only available at level 3 is what is spirit attacks. When the battle ends, once per turn you may refresh, all your spirits would awaken. And there is a considerable amount that have awaken for Sire Dragons, so that could be quite a lot. Especially be on the set with all your dragons with awaken and attack with this after, and then restand them all again so they can attack again, which is very good for a Star Dragon. See, looking at it, the Star Dragon deck looks very interesting, quite fun. But you do need a whole 6 cores on that to trigger this, but then the later you get into the game, the more likely you can probably trigger this. And then we've got White Hole Dragon, which is a 4 cost, 1 cost reduction, so it comes down for at least 3, which is pretty costly just to play a spirit. And its levels are 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 4 cores for the level 3. And it's got the same effect as Divine Dragon Mars. Oh, yeah, Divine Mars Dragon, which is awaken for its effect available at all levels. And then its effect, that's only available at level 3, is when destroyed, select one of your opponent's spirits with BP equal to or fewer than this one and destroy it. And since you're going to be at level 3 to trigger that, you're going to be killing something at 6,000 or more BP if this card gets destroyed, which is not too bad for a trade-off. Then we go on to the next ones. Then the last of the Star Dragons in the main set, we got Phobos Dragon and Nebula Dragon. And Phobos Dragon is just a skillless. This is a 5 cost with 3 cost reduction. Skillless Star Dragon with its levels being 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 5 cores for level 3. And then Nebula Dragon being a 6 cost, 3 cost reduction. And only 2 levels, 1 core for 1 and 3 cores for level 2. And is only skills at level 2, and that is Wild Spirit attacks. Count the spirit's symbol as 2 symbols as if it has a soul core on it. So you're going to be able to get that on one of these dragons because you only have 1 soul core. So if you have a soul core on this, you get to reduce it. I think there's, remember we went through the star decks, there was one in there as well that reduces the cost for some. I think that was a Star Dragon as well. But Star Dragon, you can get these big dragons, but they are quite costly when it comes to getting their level up to the highest level. So they're normally always just 1 for the 1 cost, and then at least 3 or 4 maybe for their 2 costs. So they're quite costly for the cores, but they are big dragons. Then we move on to our pterosaurs. So onto the pterosaurs, the second big archetype in, well, the big type in red, and we got Cintarsaurus, Raging Dino, Raging Dino Dinorex, and Oviraptodon. I think I said this one. I'm not very good with the names, but we got Cintarsaurus. Is a 4 cost, 2 cost reduction. Only 2 levels, 1 for 1 and 3 for level 2. And its first effect, available at all levels, is when it attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a pterosaur spirit, add it to your hand. If it's not, turn it to the top of your deck. So you get like have a little peek at the top of your deck, and if it's a pterosaur, straight up add it. If not, wait to be able to draw it next turn, or when you use a draw card. And then we've got the level 2 effect, which is Water Spirit attacks. This spirit gains 1000 BP for every pterosaur spirit you control. So the more you get out, the strongest it can be when it attacks. And it only needs 3 cores to go onto it, and it's going to be, you need at least 2 cores to play it, because then you've got 2 cost reduction, and 3 cores to get to level 2 is not too bad for a 5000 that can gain more power as it swings. And also when it attacks as well, keep cycling through your deck to try and find your pterosaurs from the top of your deck, add it to your hand as well to kind of increase your hand size, which is really nice. It's a really nice dragon. No, pterosaur, sorry. And I quite like it. Then we have Raging Dinorex. So these names are just, yeah, they're a bit tongue twistery, at least for me. And this is a 7 cost with 4 cost reduction. And for levels, 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 5 for level 3. And its first effect available at all levels is Wild Spirit attacks against Confront. And its level 3 effect is when this spirit attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 4000 or fewer BP and destroy it. So nice when it attacks, force your opponent to block, and also pop something as well, which is quite cool. And then we've got the Oviraptodon. This is a 1 cost reduction, so it can be played for free, and it's just a skillless. Just 1, 2, 3 for its levels going up, and not the strongest, but still not too bad for a potential free card as well. And then we have the last two, the pterosaurs. We have Ankylosaurioid Gaston and Pentaceratops. Some weird names for some of these, and these are just two skillless. Ankylo being a 4-cost 4 reduction, so potentially also being free, and Pentaceratops being a 5-cost or 4-cost reduction, essentially being 1 cost potentially. And they both only have 2 levels, being 1 and 2. And Ankylo has 1 core for 1 and 3 cores for level 2, and same thing for Pentaceratops. But Ankylo is a 6k at level 2, and Penta is a 4 cost for level 2. So they do the same kind of thing, just one's for free and a little bit weaker, and one costs at least 1, but it's a little bit stronger, and it's not too bad. So not too many pterosaurs, but still quite good ones. And Star Dragon seems to be probably my favorite one for the red deck so far. And then we move on to the Emperor Beasts. So we have the first one being Flame Emperor Agniphon, I think that's how you say it, and Diplophosa, and then Fierce Warrior Horn Grizzly. So Flame Emperor is a 5-cost or 2-cost reduction, 2 levels, 1 for 1 and 3 for level 2, and its only effect available at both levels is when summoned, destroy all your opponent's spirits with 4,000 or fewer BP that have when summoned effects. So it can kill all your opponent. So it only hits cards your opponent controls with when summon effects, and then kills any of them that have 4,000 or fewer BP. That's not too bad. I'm not sure how relevant that would be, but it's not too bad. And then we got Dilophosa, I think that's how you say it. 3-cost, 2-cost reduction, cut down for essentially 1 core, and its levels just 1 for 1 and 3 for level 2, but at least at for 3 cores at level 2, it's 8,000 power, and its effect on both levels is during your opponent's attack step. This spirit cannot block your opponent's spirits, so you can't use it to block, you just want to use it for attacking. And then Fierce Warrior Horn Grizzly is a 3-cost, 1-cost reduction, so at least 2 costs to play it, 2 spirit cores to play it. And its levels are just 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 5 for 3. And it's only got 1 skill at level 2 and 3, which is Water Spirit attacks against Confront, so forcing your opponent to block. Then 2 more of the Emperor Beasts. We've got Cornered Flame Rat and Horned Penguin. Cornered Flame Rat is a 2-cost, 1-cost reduction, so it comes down for 1. And its levels is 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 5 for level 3. And if you get to level 2 and 3, it has the effect Water Spirit attacks. Draw 1 card, then draw 1 card when you reduce your opponent's life with this spirit's attack. So essentially, if you do damage with this spirit, then make your opponent take a core from their life to their reserve, then you get the draw card. Not amazing, but still, considering you have 5 life, and if they choose to try and protect it or just stop this attack, you're not going to get a draw on any of attacks. Just when this attack reduces your opponent's life. And then Horned Penguin being a skillless, being a 2-cost, 1-cost reduction, only 2 levels, 1 for 1 and 4 for 2, so quite costly at 4 cores for level 2, especially at 6k power, but it's not too bad. And then I think these are the last 2 Emperor Beasts, and we have the 3-cost Bearded Eagle with a 3-cost reduction, and 4-cost Vadranosaurus, I think it's called. With a 3-cost reduction. And these are both skillless. Bearded Eagle having 3 levels, being 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and 4 for level 3, and at 7,000 the highest. And then Vadranosaurus being only 2 levels, 1 for 1 and 3 for level 2, being at least 7,000 free cores. Is not too bad. So this is this seems to be the skillless kind of like archetype the type in the first set. Not too bad. Still, you can put in quite a bit of decent power with few cores with this one. With this type. And then we have some of the other ones that have only a few cards in, a few cards in the type, being for red, Dragnogard, being a 3-cost reduction, and then Dynaman Tyrannoid being a 3-cost for 2-cost reduction. So Dragnogard has 3 levels, and it needs 1 for 1, 2 for level 2, and 4 for level 3. And no matter what the level is, it gets this effect of Water Spirit attacks. When this spirit destroys one of your opponent's spirits via compare BP, select one of your opponent's nexuses and destroy it. So if your opponent blocks this, and it kills this blocking spirit, then you get the pop one and nexus, which is not too bad. And as I said, red seems to have the little effect to pop nexuses, which is quite cool. It seems to be mainly red that has that effect, like at least destroying them. And then Dynaman, he has 3 levels as well, being a 1 for 1, 3 cores for 2, and 6 cores for level 3. And at any level, he gets this effect of treat this spirit as level 3 spirit if you only have 2 or fewer spirits on the board. So if you've only got like 2 or less spirits on the board, it's instantly at level 3, no matter what level it's at. So you can just keep 1 core on it, have it with only ever one ever spirit on board, and it's level 3 instantly being a 6k, which is not too bad. That's pretty cool. But then you've got to keep with a low board size just to keep the power high for that effect. And then we've got the last two being Blaze Dragonoid Magal and Iguana Knife. I think it is Iguana Knife. So Blaze Dragonoid is a 4-cost, 1-cost reduction, so you got to pay at least 3 to play this. 3 levels being 1 for 1, 3 for 2, and 4 cores for level 3. And no matter what the level, you get the effect when the spirit attacks. Place one of your, or select one of your spirits, place 2 cores from your trash onto it. So this is a nice way to like ramp up. It's Ancient Dragon as well, which is there's not many Ancient Dragon type cards, but this is quite cool. Being able to pay the core cost of itself really, but a pay 3 and goes to level 1. Then when the spirit attacks, select itself and place 2 cores that you paid for it off of the trash onto it to basically make use of it, which is quite cool. And then you can then do the whole awakening with other spirits as well. And then we have Iguana Knife. It's a 1-cost with no cost reduction. First time we've seen that, I think, so far. And it has 2 levels, 1 for 1 and 2 for 2. And when summoned at either level, all of your Pterosaur spirits gain 1000 BP during this turn. So like a little booster for all of them, so you can build out a board and then just drop this down and give them all 1000 BP, which is quite cool. And it's weird that it's a Reptoid, but it supports Pterosaurs, which is quite interesting. Now we move on to the Nexuses. So we've got the I think these are only 3 Nexuses, can't remember exactly, but we have Volcanic Canyon. So we have Volcanic Canyon, Ancient Fault, and Where Stars Are Born. They all have the same thing of level 1, needing no cores to sustain their level 1. And Volcanic Canyon is a 4-cost, 2-cost reduction. If you want to get to level 2, you need to put 1 core on it. And its first effect, available at both levels, is during your draw step, draw 1 card, and after you draw, discard a card from your hand. Now, this is quite nice if you feel like you want to dig through to see if you're like a heavy combo deck and you want to try and draw through your deck a bit quicker to try and find things you want. You can always have this in your deck, so you can play it turn 1, pay your 4 cores, play this out, and then during your draw step every time you draw an additional card and then discard a card, and you can always just discard the card that's dead in your hand at the time, and it just allows you to draw. That way you're drawing 2 cards a turn to try and draw through your deck quicker to find your little combo pieces. And if you do put it level 2, and then during your attack step, all your spirits gain 1000 BP. Nice little symphony. I think it's a symphony. I can't remember what it's the name for it that we had in Final Fantasy. For effects like this, just give your cards a small power boost for the turn. But that's not too bad given all your spirits, because it doesn't matter what color your spirits are, just all your spirits in your attack step get an extra 1000 BP. Not too bad. Is a decent nexus for it. You can tech in any deck, because even though if you're not playing red cards, you might not get the cost reduction. Still, being able to play as turn 1, just to have this to draw through your deck quicker is quite decent. Then we have Ancient Fault, a 5-cost with 4-cost reduction, so you can play it as cheap as turn 1, depending on how much you've got on board. And once again, just like Volcanic Canyon, it needs 1 core to go to level 2. And its first effect to level up both levels is treat this Nexus symbol as 2 red symbols. So if you get this out, you can use it as a good cost reduction to your spirits, being 2 cost what's on the board, 2 cost reduction on the board for towards your every red spirits. And when you get to level 2, during your attack steps, when one of your Pterosaur spirits destroys an opponent's spirit via compare BP, select one of your opponent's spirits with BP equal to that of the destroyed spirit and destroy it. So you get to pop more things for battle, like make it so if your opponent tries to block you when you're attacking with your Pterosaurs and it destroys them, you get to pop more things of theirs. So like that's quite cool, and just be able to pop more things and remove more blockers, which is really useful. But then if your opponent doesn't block, it doesn't do really anything for level 2 skill. Then we have Where Stars Are Born. So this is a 3-cost, 2 specified cost, so can come down for 1. Needs 2 cores to go to levels 2, and when placed at either level, reveal the top card of your deck for each Star Dragon Spirit you control. Add one red spirit card from the reveal cards to your hand and return any remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. So that's quite nice. If you get a load of Star Dragons out, you can look a lot more from the top of your deck, and it's really nice Nexus to get down. Just to have down as a card, because remember Nexus are quite nice in that they could just stay around, hard to interact with, and then help reduce the help with the cost reduction on some of your spirits, and also have some nice effects as well. And if you get this level 2, you have the during your attack step. When one of your spirits that costs 4 or more attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with 1000 or fewer BP and destroy it. This can kill quite a few level 1 ones in some of the most of the other colors, at least in yellow mostly. And then we go to the magic cards, and we got some really nice ones for this. So for the first lot, I think there are 5 magic cards for at least red in the main set. We got Big Bang Energy, Star Blastral, and Volcanic Break. So Star Blastral is the one with Burst. We'll go over in a sec. First, we'll go over Big Bang Energy. This is a 4 cost for 2 cost reduction, and it's got 2 effects. First one being a main effect, just main, being during this turn, all Star Dragon Spirits cards in your hand have a cost equal to your life total. So this is one that goes really well with the X Rare Super Dragon Supernova Sigworm X Rare that we saw at the beginning. Because if you get put down to one core in life, so 1 life, you then get to play this out, and it essentially makes all your Star Dragons 1 cost. And a lot of Star Dragons, I think most of them, all have at least one cost reduction, have at least 1 cost reduction on all the Star Dragons. So that essentially allows you to play this and then play all your Star Dragons for free when you do that 1 life. And then you can easily just go drop down the 6-drop Sigworm Dragon for free, put a core on it, and then then drop the Supernova for free as well to then kill the Sigworm and trigger the whole thing to ramp back at the 5 spirits after you spam that you're filled full of dragons. And then, yeah, basically just in a turn, if your opponent just tries to kill you and fails to and leaves you at 1, you can then clap them back by just bringing out a board full of Star Dragons for next to nothing, and then swing with them more and just push through a clap back and go back at the 5 life to be harder to kill on the next one as well. And given that most of the red cards have, like big red cards have Confront, you can also force your opponent to block with anything they might have left up to get rid of everything as well, and then pop some of the other cards, especially with Nova as well, afterwards. And it also has a main flash effect, which is select 1 spirit against 2000 BP during this turn. So I think a lot of quite a fair few magic cards, if you see from the star decks, have, we're just increasing your one effect, decrease for combat as well, because most of them are during flash steps. Then increase the spirit by like BP a little bit stronger to help with blocking or attacking. Then we have Star Blastral. So this one costs 4 with a 2 cost reduction, and its burst effect triggers when an opponent resolves the spirit's when summon effect. And when you do that, you just draw 2 cards, and then you can pay this card's cost to activate its main, and its main is just draw 2 cards. So there's not too many when summon effects that I've seen so far in terms of the starter decks in the main set. But if your opponent does resolve it, you have this burst, you control 2 cards, then pay the main cost, pay its main cost to then use its to then draw 2 more cards. You can potentially get 4 cards of this, sat there waiting to kind of draw for your deck a bit quicker, and it's quite nice. But it depends on how many when summon effects are available and used in most colors or most decks, whether this card is going to be useful. But still quite nice to just draw 2 cards for free is not too bad, because you're getting a +1 off this, because you have to still set this card and use it and wait for a when summon effect to trigger. And then Volcanic Break, this is a 5 cost with a 2 cost reduction, and it's got a main flash effect, which is select one of your opponent's spirits with 3000 or fewer BP and destroy it. And if you spend a soul core as part of this card's cost, you get a selected spirit with 6000 or fewer BP instead. So you can either kill something with 3000 or fewer BP, or spend the soul core and go up to having the option of 6000 or fewer, which is quite good. Normally the 3000 can hit some of the things you want to hit, but 6000 can hit some bigger things as well, like some more costly things your opponent might play. Then we go to the last 2 cards in the set for red, being Flame Breath and Burning Force, 2 quite cool magic cards. So Flame Breath also has a burst effect, and it's a 3 cost with 1 cost reduction, and its burst triggers when an opponent resolves a spirit's when summon effect. So both the red ones so far trigger when your opponent plays something that says when summoned, do this. And when that happens, you get to select one of your opponent's spirits with 4000 or fewer BP and destroy it. And then you can pay this card's cost to activate its flash effect. And the flash effect, well, main flash effect is select one spirit, gains 2000 BP during this turn. So once again, never flash one that can increase or decrease the power to help combat. This is not too bad, allowing you to pop something when your opponent plays a one summon effect. But once again, just like with the other one, Starblast Draw is it all depends on how many spirits have one summon effects that are used in most decks, really. So you need to know that to see if this is worthwhile. Then the last one being Burning Force, a 5 cost with 2 cost reduction. Activate, it's got 2 effects. First one just being main, select one of your opponent's nexus and destroy it. So more nexus destruction, which seems just being red, which comes to actually destroying them. And then we have the main flash effect, select 2 of your opponent's spirits with 3003 BP and destroy them. So more destruction of your opponent's spirits, which is cool. And that is it for the red spoilers. So the red one looks really nice. Like Star Dragons look quite interesting. Be able to have that ability to be taken down the one, survive, and then spam out a field full of dragons, and even take your life back up to 5, which is essentially coming from the void as well. So you're ramping up your life, and getting even more cores, and then just having this wide board of dragons just push back after being attempted to be clapped. So that is it for today's video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And next one, we'll be going over the purple reveals for the main set as well. So hope to see you back in them, and see you next one. Bye for now.